What is eSports? Esports, or electronic sports, aka competitive video gaming, has been around since video games became a thing. It all started when the game Space War, the first video game ever made, was used in an intergalactic Space War Olympics at Stanford University for students. The winning prize? A year's subscription to Rolling Stone magazine. Esports were mostly organized and played by amateurs and university students. The first large-scale event was hosted by Atari in 1980 for the game Space Invaders. The event held an attendance of 10,000 participants and further solidified esports as a mainstream hobby. Since its humble beginnings, esports has grown outside its small shell to a multi-million-dollar industry, generating $325 million in 2015, which is expected to grow to $493 million in 2016, and also having a global audience of over 200 million people. The mainstream hobby has grown to a full-blown profession for many, with major competitions such as the Internationals for Dota 2, the League of Legends World Championship, Battle.net World Championship Series, and the Intel Extreme Masters. Esports has grown to be comparable to major traditional sports events with professional setups, casters, and huge prize pools. Many professional organizations have risen in the wake of professional gaming. Organizations such as Major League Gaming, TESPA, an organization targeted towards college students, and the World Esports Association. These organizations were made not just to organize tournaments, but to also increase awareness and to provide some regulatory purposes. With the mention of esports becoming comparable to traditional sports, how have observers outside of the video game community received this? Not so positively.
You follow me what I'm saying here, Bernie?
I do. Do you have any statistics on how many of those people also go to Star Trek conventions?
I would guess there's actually a fair amount of overlap. Actually,
it's a game.
That's not a sport.
That's not a
That's
sport.
not a sport.
It's not a
I
real
want to
sport.
talk about the 20 million people who are watching the damn thing.
And the money
They
that
gotta
they're
be
making.
crazier
And
than
they're
the
paying
ones.
big money to watch it.
It's $1 million.
Esports has been viewed as a joke by many professionals in sports and sports fans alike. They don't view the field as an actual sport, with some prominent figures like the president of ESPN stating, "It's not a sport, it's a competition. Chess is a competition, checkers is a competition. Mostly, I'm interested in doing real sports." Ironically, the following year, ESPN began broadcasting esports events on ESPN3. Despite the hostility and being the butt of jokes by traditional sports fans and personalities, the video game community continues to strive for esports to become a major sport, with the likes of basketball, football, and soccer. In South Korea, esports is one of the country's national sports, with multi-billion-dollar corporations sponsoring professional teams in huge tournaments. The South Korean government even has a national esports association called KESPA, the Korean Esports Association. In the US, professional League of Legends and Counter-Strike Global Offensive gamers are being granted professional athlete visas to compete in tournaments in the US. This marks the US government's acknowledgement of esports as a legitimate sport. In Europe, the UK and France have also acknowledged esports as a sport by creating professional associations and allowing foreign competitors entry into their countries. Will esports become sports with the likes of football and baseball? Already we are getting televised events of tournaments and internet broadcasts which garnered hundreds of millions of viewers. With the increase of more people playing video games and more companies like Intel and Samsung sponsoring teams, we will most likely see esports rise as a legitimate sport in the views of people outside of the video game community.